At the time of me finalizing the editing for this week's video, I am struggling to come to grips with the news of the passing of a really great friend. As his death quickly puts things in perspective for me, I find this week's inspiration from the passage of scripture taking from 1 John chapter 2 verses 15 and 16. And it says, "Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, are not of the Father, but is of the world." Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Robin, and if you're new here, I'm gonna ask you to take a second, go on down below, hit that subscribe button, turn your post notifications on so you'll never miss whenever I upload a new video. Now, let's just jump right into it. So for today's video, I am bringing you part 2 in the series on hair's porosity. What?
Girl, what are you doing?
What do you mean? I'm just showing my personality. Remember? We talked about it. I have a fun personality and I need to let it show on camera.
Girl, cut it out.
No?
Don't
What?
ever do that. I'm gonna need you to not do that ever again.
Never?
Never.
Never? I'm sorry. Hey. Still too much? Hi.
Okay, I can't with you. Can you just get on with the video? You're so annoying.
I'm sorry about that, y'all. But for today's video, I'm going to be doing part 2 in the series on hair porosity. And I'm just going to take you back. Let's just do a quick recap on what we've learned so far. So in part 1, we set the foundation, we defined what porosity is, and I'm just going to do a quick summation of what we learned in part 1. So we started by defining hair's porosity. And for that, we determined that essentially hair's porosity is simply its ability to both absorb and retain moisture. We established that knowing your hair's porosity is important because this is the sole factor that affects how well oils, butters, creams, and even water pass through your cuticles. From there, we discovered that porosity is broken down into 3 categories, and these are low, medium, and high. Next, we established that in order to better understand the concept of hair porosity, we needed to take a look at the structure of your hair. This led us to discover that our hair consists of 3 layers. The first one is the outermost layer, which is known as the cuticles. Secondly, the cortex. This is the thickest layer, and it contains fibrous proteins as well as the pigment that gives your hair its color. And lastly, there's the medulla. This is the softest central part of your hair shaft. Understanding the structure of your hair and the 3 layers helps us better grasp hold of the concept that for our hair to stay healthy and hydrated, water, oils, and other moisturizing products need to be able to pass through the outermost layer, which is the cuticles, in order to get to the cortex. But if the cuticles are too close together, it is not easy for water and oils to penetrate the hair. This can make it harder for your hair to get the moisture it so desperately needs. Also, if the cuticles are too widely spaced, your hair will have a harder time retaining moisture and staying hydrated. This is a nice segue into today's discussion on low porosity. Now that that's all done and you're all caught up, we're going to touch on the first category that porosity is broken down into, and that is low porosity. So, if you did your float test and you realize that strand, it's on the top of the glass, it is not dipping, it refused to dip, like it's just floating, it's been 3 hours, 4 days, and it is still floating, child, you have low porosity. And this is why it's so hard to keep her moisturized. This is why she be looking dry, because it's on the top of the glass, y'all. It will not let any type of moisture in. So if you're low porosity and you want to learn some more about it, this video is for you. Now let's just jump right into it. Now let's make a disclaimer here before we go any further. I need you to understand that how your hair absorbs and retains moisture is largely due to genetics. So it stands to reason that if low porosity hair runs in your family, there is a pretty good chance that you'll also have low porosity hair. But while genetics can affect porosity, it isn't the only contributing factor. So let's dig a little deeper now that we've cleared that up. So you watched my last video and you learned about the float test. You got curious and you decided to try it. In addition to the floating hair on the top of the glass, here are some other factors or characteristics that may help you better determine if you have low porosity hair. Do need to let you know the cuticles of low porosity hair are tightly packed and very close together. This makes it harder for moisture to penetrate the hair shaft. Now that we've cleared that up, here are a few more things to ponder. So ask yourself, or maybe you've asked yourself this already, do you find that hair products tend to sit on your hair and don't absorb easily? Also, do you find it's hard for water to saturate your hair on wash day? Or maybe you find it takes a long time for your hair to dry or even air dry. If you've answered yes to one or more of these questions, in addition to the floating glass or strand of hair in the glass, it's safe to conclude that you have low porosity hair. Now what? Here are some tips for caring for low porosity hair. Now, ladies and gents, hear me clearly. I did mention that the cuticles of low porosity hair are closely packed together. I said that, right? And because it's closely packed together, this makes it hard for products and moisture to penetrate. I know. The natural reaction if the products are not penetrating is to pile on more products or even come up with a cocktail of products. Please don't do that. Here's a better solution. First, you want to start by spritzing your hair with warm water before applying those products. You see, the heat from the water will lift the hair cuticle. Once the cuticles are lifted, oils and moisture will now be able to easily penetrate the hair shaft. Also, use products that are formulated specifically for low porosity hair. These products will contain ingredients like honey, glycerin, aloe vera, panthenol, or vitamin B5, as well as flaxseed. Products containing these ingredients are not only penetrable, but they prevent buildup and residue, which can weigh the hair down. Also, look for products that contain amino acid and other forms of proteins that are suited for hair. These are beneficial for the hair in 3 ways. 1, they encourage water retention. 2, they repair damaged hair. And 3, they stop breakage. Here's some good news for all you low porosity gals. Your hair, contrary to popular views, is healthy. Wait a sec, I'll say that again. If you have low porosity hair, you have healthy hair. The problem is that you aren't moisturizing your hair correctly. Your cuticle is intact, but because you're not moisturizing correctly, it becomes dried and tangled. One of the easiest way to moisturize your hair is to start with water. I mean, let's be real. When you're thirsty, do you drink oil? No, you don't. That's silly, right? Well, same with your hair. It's thirsty, give it water. And since your cuticles are closed, warm water will shock them right open for you. Another key tip is to pre-poo weekly. Now, what's pre-poo? The process of pre-pooing is simply the prefix pre, which means before, and the suffix poo, after, or at the end. So basically, this process uses the prefix pre, before, and attaches it to the ending of the verb shampoo to form a new word, pre-poo, which means before you shampoo. Now remember earlier I told you that low porosity hair loves ingredients like honey, glycerin, aloe vera, flaxseed, and so on? Well, here's a neat idea. Why not get your hair ready for wash day by combining these ingredients to form a really great pre-poo. Of course, you can add oils like olive oil, grapeseed oil, and avocado oils, just to name a few. Now, avocado oil is an amazing emollient oil that will easily penetrate your hair strands and moisturize your hair from within. Of course, trying a few will land you on your ideal combination that your hair will love. So go ahead, experiment with pre-pooing and watch your low porosity hair flourish. Here's the neat thing about low porosity hair. Once the moisture is in, it's basically in. So the key is to prepare your hair to absorb the moisture, seal that bad boy in, and you are set for the week until wash day. My most important tip for you is to 1. Pre-poo, shampoo, and deep condition your hair weekly. Thank you so much for watching today's video, guys. I really hope that this was helpful for all of you low porosity girls. I hope you found it informative and you learned some tips and tricks, tips and tricks on how to handle and tackle your low porosity hair so that you are basically on your way. In part 3, we're going to be talking about medium porosity. This is where it gets fun, y'all. So, thank you so much for watching. I love you for watching. Hit me up in the comment section. Remember to subscribe first. You didn't subscribe yet? This whole time you did not subscribe. Royal One, I'm gonna need you to subscribe to the video. Subscribe to the channel, y'all. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you. And remember, live your blessed life. But before you live your blessed life, hit me up in the comment section. Let me know what part of today's video you enjoyed. Let me know what part you found informative. Let me know if you're low porosity. Did you do your float test yet? What porosity are you? And did you find today's video helpful? Let's talk all about it. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Love you for watching. Live your blessed life. Now you can live your best life. Bye.
To believe I'm something special, can't take that from me.